What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Pick a Card, where we actually go over different trading cards, whether it be sports, movies, comics, whatever. I'm actually going to be really excited to do this particular video because I actually purchased for really good price some NBA vintage cards. So we're going to go over that today. You actually saw some of the other videos I actually did this past week, NFL from 1990 and 1991 vintage cards, so be sure to check that out. And also the initial video that we did, which was my Marvel collection of the Marvel Series 3 and 4, and of course the X-Men series that I had before. But let's get down to business. This is where we get serious, people, because if anybody who knows me, they know NBA is my bag, baby. And so this was actually something I was looking forward to. Couldn't wait to actually get this actually got to my door. So these cards are going to be from the year, because they didn't actually say what year it was. It just said vintage cards. So this is going to be 1990, 91, 91. And so look like 90, 91. That's looking like what we're gonna look at here. So I'm gonna start off. Let's see here. 90. All right, and this is 90 as well. So I'm gonna start off with one of my favorite companies, Fleer. Fleer is actually, I used to collect those a lot when I was a kid. As well as Upper Decks. I wasn't really a Tops guy. A lot of it's just because a lot of the companies that actually did different sports, they had, I guess, their contracts for that. But the most ones that I collected were Fleer and Upper Deck. So this is going to be 1990. So the very first one right out of the gate. Former NBA champion with the Detroit Pistons, John Sully. And he was a center. So I'm going to put this guy over here. Ooh, another good guy that I know very well from the Dallas Mavericks, Herb Williams, who also played for the New York Knicks, which is my team. But this one is actually when he was playing with the Dallas Mavericks. He was with the Dallas Mavericks first before he got traded or signed, either traded or signed to the New York Knicks. And he is a center. All right. Another center, since we're on the that particular role here for those type of players. Another one, Rick Smits, who was a center for the Indiana Pacers. He was from Holland. Rick Smits. All right. And moving to the guard position, Jim Paxson from the Boston Celtics. He actually played for the Chicago Bulls as well. I think he was one of the players that was on their earlier championships that they won in the early 90s with the Bulls with Michael Jordan. Jim Paxson. And another... This is another one from who also was part of the Detroit Pistons and won that championship, Rick Mahorn. He was a power forward. I believe he was a power forward. Let's see here. Doesn't say, but I believe he was a power forward, but it looks like he's being guarded by Larry Bird on that. But this was actually when he was with the 76ers, the Philadelphia 76ers. All right. And... going back to the guard position from the Houston Rockets, Mitchell Wiggins. I believe this is actually Andre Wiggins' dad, who actually currently plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I believe that is him, yeah. Because they always used to say that his dad played for the NBA as well. And going back to the center position, we got a lot of centers in this particular pack. Kevin Willis from the Atlanta Hawks. And this one, going back to the forward position, Tom Hammonds from the Washington Bullets. They used to be called the Washington Bullets, and now they're Washington Wizards. And the reason why they changed their name is because Washington, D.C. is very well known for being a very, very tough urban, like where a lot of gangs and shootings happened during the early 90s through now. It's still a tough, place to live in. And so they felt that the Bullets name was kind of a, negative connotation to the city. So they changed their names to the Wizards, which was right around when Michael Jordan was the owner of the team, and he actually ended his career there. Little fun fact. But going to the West Coast, Los Angeles Clippers, Danny Manning, who was also a forward. And I'm trying to make sure that I can say this name. Also from the West Coast, Golden State Warriors. So it is Sarunas Malushonis. There we go. He's a guard. And one of the first expansion teams that I see on this particular pack, because I believe that was when the Orlando Magic first stepped onto the scene. They were considered a expansion team. The Orlando Magic, the Miami Heat, and I forget what the other team was that was considered an expansion team. But Otis Smith, who was a guard, he was one of the first Orlando Magic. And this one actually says traded to Chicago, because in the picture he's wearing a uniform from one team, but they have the logo of where he was traded to. I guess they couldn't take another photo when he was in his new uniform. So this is Dennis Hobson, who was a guard. He was playing for the New Jersey Nets, but then got traded to the Chicago Bulls. And I believe that also the Charlotte Hornets were another expansion team as well. This is Armand Gilman, who was a forward. Oh, man, this is a good pull. Taking it back, son. From the Seattle Supersonics, Sean Kemp, who is listed as a center, but he was more of a power forward. Sean Kemp was nicknamed the Rain Man. The reason why he was nicknamed the Rain Man is because he would rain dunks on you, bro, with ferocity. Like he's kind of like how LeBron James comes down with that force you see him when he goes through the lane. That was what Sean Kemp used to do. He used to put fear in a lot of players too. Like you didn't want to try to guard him when he was going full head of steam. Finally, on this particular pack, we end with Sam Mitchell, who was a forward. Now, Sam Mitchell is actually currently a coach. Let me see. Who did he coach? I believe he coached the Timberwolves, if I'm not mistaken. Anybody fact check for me and comment down below in the comments. All right, so we're done with that pack. We're gonna go to the next pack here. This is gonna be NBA hoops. I got a couple packs of those. So opening that up. All right. This is still 1990. So the very first one, which is a rookie card, Alexander Volkov from the Atlanta Hawks, who was a rookie, and he is listed as a forward. Oh, another one we already covered already. I'm thinking he might be a small forward, because in this picture as well, he's being guarded by Larry Bird. So Rick Mahorn, formerly of the Detroit Pistons, who also won a title. And that's him right there with the Philadelphia 76ers. All right, this is a good one. This is a good one. Not so many people know about this, but he was a great guard. Really, really good on the crossover. Very good ball handler. Excellent passer. Kevin Johnson from the Phoenix Suns. He was a guard, point guard. He actually had, that was actually one of the first, I believe, trademarked shoes, like actual shoes that I bought that was actually trademarked. It was on Converse. He was the one with the first React juice. So all the shocks, like NBA Nike shocks you see now, his shoe was the innovator of all of that. Shock absorption for the whenever you like jump and all that. I actually remember that. I had a pair of those Converse, and this one was another center, LaSalle Thompson, from the Indiana Pacers. It's so funny. It looks like we ended with from the last pack. Hey everyone. So it looks like we had a little bit of a technical difficulties here. For whatever reason, my camera stopped filming, and it was because I was running out of memory. So I didn't even know. I went through the whole pack thinking that I was all like still filming. I'm like, why is it going dark? Because the camera was just going dark on me. So we're going to continue on where we left off here. Give me just a moment here. So we ended the actual pack, or the when they cut off here on Otis Smith. He was a forward guard from the Orlando Magic. The next one up is actually one of the first coaches that we have on this particular pack, Coach Cotton Fitzsimmons from the Phoenix Suns. Here we go. Dan Shays from the Milwaukee Bucks. He was a center. Sherman Douglas. He was a guard. And this was his rookie card when he was with the Miami Heat. And first player, then coach, then front office guy, and then an executive. The man that I feel that is the reason why the Knicks are such in disarray right now, more than they were before. But Phil Jackson. And he was a champion with the 72-73 New York Knicks. And he had I think he was one of the very few that got rings from 3 different franchises, 1 as a player and 2 as a coach. He got rings with the Chicago Bulls, he got it with the New York Knicks, and the Los Angeles Lakers. The next one that I see here is going to be a guard, Alvin Robertson from the Milwaukee Bucks. Ooh, this is a blast from the past. Sam Bowie from the New Jersey Nets. Now they're the Brooklyn Nets, but now that they were with New Jersey before. And Mike Sanders, he is a forward from the Indiana Pacers. A guard from the Mile High City, Walter Davis, Denver Nuggets. And one of the most, I would say, the best shooting guards ever in the history of the NBA, Clyde the Glide Drexler, played for Portland, and then I believe he won a championship with Houston Rockets after he left Portland. And this is Danny Manning from the Los Angeles Clippers. It looks like it's a little mural that they have on a card. They have specific ones you can get. Benoit Benjamin, Winston Garland, Tom Garrick, Gary Grant, Ron Harper, who used to be a guard with the Bulls. Jeff Martin, Ken Norman, Charles Smith, Mike Schuler, the coach, Bo Kimball. So I'm guessing these were also the ones you can find on these type of a card as well. The next one is also a player first, then a coach. Steve Kerr. This is when he was playing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then was either traded or signed with the Chicago Bulls and won some titles there. And then towards the end of his career, before he retired, he won another title with the San Antonio Spurs. All right, and this is another guy that I know very, very well, Bill Cartwright from the Chicago Bulls. Oh, another name that we just went over on the other pack, Herb Williams from the Dallas Mavericks. Whoa, brother. Look at this little hunk of man. Mike Gminski was the center from the Philadelphia 76ers. That is a huge mullet, brah. Party in the front. Or no, business in the front, party in the back. There we go. And from the Washington Bullets, now the Washington Wizards, John Williams. Not the Star Wars John Williams. And forward center, Brad Sellers from the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then San Antonio Spurs, Caldwell Jones. He was a forward at the center. This is also sticking with the San Antonio Spurs. David Wingate. I remember him playing a lot with David Robinson. Oh, this is a good one. So this is an All-Star card from the All-Star weekend in Miami, February 9th through the 11th in 1990. Charles Barkley played with the Philadelphia 76ers and then was traded or signed to the Phoenix Suns and then ended his career in Houston. Well, I like this name. Gene Littles was a coach for the Charlotte Hornets. Also player, then became front office. Danny Ainge won some titles with the Boston Celtics. And then this is when he was playing with the Sacramento Kings. He was a guard. Nate McMillan from the Seattle Supersonics. He's now a coach. I believe he's coaching the Indiana Pacers right now. He's a great player. And finishing up this particular card or pack, Mark Aguirre from the Detroit Pistons. All right, so we're done with that pack here. We're going to go on the next one. Thank you for sticking with us. All right, so this is a Skybox. Not really remembering these particular ones. These one actually had, like, instead of the actual crowd in the background on the actual court, they actually had a background like a green screen. So this one, and this is also from 1990, Jerome Kersey from the Portland Trail Blazers. Let's see if we can see that a little better. And from the Miami Heat, Tellis Frank. Tellis Frank was a forward, as well as Jerome Kersey. And Michael Ansley from the Orlando Magic. He is a forward as well. A player very well known to a lot of people who follow basketball in the 80s, James Worthy from the Los Angeles Lakers. He won many titles with them. And this guy, Jeff Martin. Now, if you notice that I'm actually not wearing my gloves, when the camera went off and then I was fixing everything and then my gloves ripped and I didn't have any more. So if you notice, like, what happened to his gloves? That's what happened, folks. And this is another guy who also won some titles with Michael Jordan, Will Perdue. He was a center. And one of the forwards from the New Jersey Nets, Purvis Short. There we go. Another player then turned coach, Scott Brooks. Let's see, what else? Scott Brooks, I believe he coached the Oklahoma City Thunder. I believe so. Yeah, I think he was one of the first when they moved from Seattle to Oklahoma City, because Seattle moved their team to Oklahoma City after Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. New Orleans was sharing their space with Oklahoma City, so it was like New Orleans, Oklahoma for a little bit. Then finally, when after Katrina was done, and then everything went back to normal, New Orleans had their own team again, and the New Orleans Hornets was them. Then they became the New Orleans Pelicans, because then the Charlotte Hornets got their team back. But during that time, Oklahoma City didn't have a team, and I believe Scott Brooks was the very first coaches there when Kevin Durant was, I think, in his sophomore season, along with Russell Westbrook. So the next person here, who also played as a Laker and won some championship, but this is when he was playing with the Phoenix Suns. Eddie Jones was one of my favorite players. He is a forward. And I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce this dude's name, but he is a forward from the San Antonio Spurs. Zarko Pazbalj. I'm not sure how that said that right. Ooh, Herb Williams again, coming up again, 3 packs straight. And you can see he's actually Charles Oakley from the New York Knicks is actually guarding him in this one. They not only they became teammates, but they were also adversaries. And I was waiting to see this guy. I wonder when we were going to pull him. Chris Mullin from the Golden State Warriors. He actually grew up in New York, went to school there. This is just a checklist of all the cards, so we're going to put that to the side. Ooh, Bill Cartwright from the Chicago Bulls. And another Golden State Warrior, Mark Smrek. And rounding out this pack, from the Utah Jazz, was the first Utah Jazz we've seen, Eric Johnson. He's a guard. All right, so we got another skybox. So we're going to see this one. This one looks a little bit better. Oh, this look good. Oh, one of my favorite players from the University of Michigan, Glenn Rice. This is before he then started here, I believe, and then played for the Charlotte Hornets, and then for the Lakers. First coach of this particular brand of cards, Chuck Daly from the Detroit Pistons. He was actually the coach that helped them win a title. And keeping with that, Bill Laimbeer, one of the toughest guys to play during that time frame, won the title with the Detroit Pistons as well. From the Dallas Mavericks, Roy Tarpley. And from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Danny Ferry. All right. And this is Kevin Duckworth from the Portland Trail Blazers. And guard from the Seattle Supersonics, Dale Ellis. Moving along here from the Dallas Mavericks, Lafayette Lever, I'm not sure. And another one that we already went through another pack on, Mark Aguirre. Ooh, from the Los Angeles Lakers, AC Green, another guy who won a title with Magic. Oh, this was a really good one. Manute Bol. It's one of the 7. He was 7'7". 7'7". He wasn't really a scorer. He basically he was a leader in blocks. His NBA career, he averaged 3.8 blocks. Let's see here. Yeah, he's more of a block guy. They didn't really do rebound and block. So, from the Portland Trail Blazers, Buck Williams. And the Miami Heat, Milt Wagner. All right. And the Detroit Pistons, Vinnie Johnson. And rounded this pack out from the New York Knicks, Eddie Lee Wilkins. All right, so we got that one there. So now we got our last two. This is going to be for 1992. We're going to go with Upper Deck. And we started with our first one, which was an East All-Stars. Joe Dumars. And he was a guard. Played with the Detroit Pistons. He also won a title with them. This was from, let's see, where did they have it? Oh, when they were in Charlotte, 1992. Or 1991, my bad. All right. So from the Washington Bullets, Darrell Walker. He was a guard. My man. One of the best analysts on TNT. Charles Barkley from the Philadelphia 76ers. This is before he actually got traded or signed with the Phoenix Suns. Just terrible. I'm just talking terrible. Purvis Ellison from the Washington Bullets. He was a guard or center. All right. One of my favorite players, Scott Skiles. He was the first guard that they had when they became an expansion team. So this is before Shaq. All right. So the next one is Larry Nance from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Larry Nance actually has a son that plays with the Cleveland Cavaliers now. I believe Larry Nance Jr. I believe he's still playing with them right now. But yeah, he has a son playing now. And then this one is John Shasky from the Dallas Mavericks. He is a center. Oh, our first hologram. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but this is a David Robinson hologram. David Robinson is an all multi-time All-Star NBA champion. Was an admiral in the Navy, so thank you for your service. And this one from the Mile High City, Kenny Battle. All right, from the Los Angeles Lakers, we have Tony Smith. And from the Phoenix Suns, Nigel Knight. He was a guard. Ooh, these last two are really awesome. Okay, so from the Orlando Magic, Dennis Scott. He was actually one of the very first guards to implement shooting threes in the on the break. So when they would get the rebound or a steal, and they would start the fast break, normally people would go for a dunk or a layup, but he was actually one of the first people to implement shooting a three on the fast break, which now a lot of guys do, like Steph Curry, awesome at it, Klay Thompson. So that was actually a real big, and he was an innovator as far as basketball goes, and was a really, really good three-point shooter. And the last one, this is also from the West All-Stars, John Stockton. John Stockton played with the Utah Jazz, was the leader in assists and steals, I believe. Has the record for the most assists per game. And then finally, our last one. And this is going to be NBA Hoops. And this was just for the team, the Philadelphia 76ers. Oh, wow. Pulling it out from some of the greats. Moses Malone, when he would play for the Houston Rockets. He actually was with the the Philadelphia 76ers before. And another guy that we had, another one that I try to pronounce his name, from the Golden State Warriors, Sarunas Marciulionis. And from the Phoenix Suns, Mark West. And one of the men from the 80s, sharpshooter Larry Bird. This is a milestone card, I guess. With 21 points in a 123-95 win over Washington on November 30th, 1990, Larry Bird became the 15th player in NBA history to score 20,000 career points. Perhaps most significantly, however, Bird became just the 5th player in history to collect more than 20,000 points, 5,000 rebounds, and 5,000 assists during his career. A true measure of the all-around skills. The other 4 players were Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, John Havlicek, Oscar Robinson, and Jerry West, which not too many people know that Jerry West is the silhouette that they use in the actual logo for the NBA. That's Jerry West. And it's a little fun fact. In the Los Angeles Clippers, we have Winston Garland, who is a guard. From the Boston Celtics, we have D. Brown. Oh, my man, Dominique Wilkins. This was an all-star card from 91 when they're in Charlotte. He played for the Atlanta Hawks from the East Coast. Brad Lohaus. He was a forward and a center for the Milwaukee Bucks. And for the Utah Jazz, Blue Edwards. There you go. Oh, we had this guy before. Coach, the first coach card from this one. Cotton Fitzsimmons from the Phoenix Suns. Oh, yeah. This guy used to play for the New York Knicks as well. Rolando Blackman. This is when he was playing with the Dallas Mavericks. He was a guard. And this was for the Mile High City, Denver Nuggets, Chris Jackson. He was a guard. And this is a celebration card for David Robinson, who was also part of that hologram that we saw. And topping this out and ending this video today, A.J. English from the Washington Bullets. So that does it for this edition of Pick a Card. Thank you so very much. We had a hell of a time trying to get this recorded with all that technical difficulties, but be sure to comment and subscribe and like the video. Also set that notification button so that way whenever new videos come out, you'll be notified as soon as possible. And also be sure to join us and support us by going on our Patreon page.